Color me intrigued because I just got done watching the first episode of This Monster Wants to Eat Me, and to be honest, I don't typically gravitate towards Yuri. It's just not something I've really explored all that much. However, one of my favorite anime from last season, The Summer Hikaru Died, is a yaoi, which is basically just the male equivalent, and this gave off a lot of the same mystery yokai vibes, so I figured I'd check it out. And honestly, after the first episode, I really feel inclined to continue watching. It did a really good job of setting up the story, both in a kind of in-your-face nature, but also in the subtlety of setting up the mystery that makes me want to come back. First of all, I don't know how popular Yuri is, but like, the animation budget of this is clearly very high. From the first opening shot, I was actually taken aback by how well it looked. I don't know if that's just me, but I was pretty impressed. So right off the bat, you got me hooked, and then with the mystery and the story, Hinako, our main character, has lost her entire family. We don't know of what. There's some sort of thing going on with her connection to the ocean. I don't know if that has to do with the loss of her family or just something that was very special to her and her family, because clearly she grew up near the ocean. But they also use the ocean as an analogy for the loneliness that she feels. We see her standing in the ocean a few times, representing how she feels very suffocated by this loss and by being alone. One thing as a scuba diver is when you're underwater, you might have a bunch of people around you, yes, but you can't easily communicate with them. So you still feel very isolated and alone. And I think the way that they're using the ocean to represent that feeling of loss and loneliness, despite people clearly reaching out to her and caring about her, I think is actually really interesting, and I really like that. But that's not the only interesting thing about this. We're introduced to the concept of yokai very early on. We have this really decrepit looking lady who comes and attacks Hinako, but she's saved by Shiori, who is a mermaid, but not like a, oh, pretty mermaid. No, like a terrifying, long nails, rip you to shreds mermaid who also clearly wants to eat her, and makes a comment that also got me intrigued about her being especially delicious. I don't know why, maybe it's something to do with her family, maybe she's a yokai herself, I don't know, but it did enough to set me up to be interested, because now Shiori is becoming a transfer student at Hinako's school because Shiori wants to protect Hinako so that she can grow up to be even more delicious. She's basically raising livestock, which is interesting. I don't know if this, I guess it's going to turn into a love story, maybe enemies to lovers, I don't know, but all of that really got me interested into where they can take this story. We had an interesting, like, I don't want to call it a battle, but clearly there's going to be a lot of protection from other yokai, so let me know if you're going to be watching this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.